Good morning, everybody. This your man, Young Squalla, with always everything with Squalla. And when I tell you it's always gonna be everything, it's gonna always be everything. Understand what I'm telling you? We talking about anything on this channel, on this podcast. We talking about everything. We could talk about your mama. We could talk about why your daddy ain't paid the child support. We talking about everything, anything that got some substance. I'm talking about. Trust me. And that brings me to this episode and today's topic. Because today's topic is, drumroll please, the stimulus bill. Let's get right to it. The stimulus motherfucking bill. I'm about to be talking about it. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna tell you where the money going and what money not going to you, where that shit going. There's a lot of money going to the people, but then there's a lot of money not. Shit, some $1 trillion bills, yo. Trillions of dollars. They ain't giving us no trillions of dollars, man. They might think they throw that number out there, but I'm gonna tell you how much the people actually get, because they goddamn sure they ain't giving us no trillions of dollars. Our stimulus check would be damn near $6,000 a piece if that was the case. So we're gonna talk about that, but before I talk about that, I'm about to get into some news. I gotta get y'all hip on the current event, man. As of 10 hours ago, according to WJLA, yes, it says DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Hold on, I said that right. And Virginia. Yes, sir. DMV, we are here. The V is coming through. They are taking big steps towards legalizing marijuana. Holy shit. I'm going to tell y'all, the Virginia cops, they think weed is cocaine. That's what they, I'm telling you. Nigga smoke a, nigga, let your car smell like weed. They gonna have 3 K9s, the SWAT team, the news, everybody. They gonna think, you gonna think they just caught El Chapo. I'm telling you. But let me read the article here. It says, in Richmond, Virginia, lawmakers are working to strike a deal to make recreational pot legal by 2024. That plan will create a state agency similar to the one that controls alcohol. They about to be selling weed out the ABC store. Oh shit. But they only have until Saturday to strike the deal, or the debate will be put on hold until next year. You better hurry the fuck up. In the district, Mayor Muriel Bowser unveiled her own plan for legal marijuana sales. DC legalized possession and gifting marijuana in a self-enacting ballot measure in 2015 called Initiative 71. Multiple attempts to put forward the legislation by the DC Council and Mayor Bowser to allow for regulated marijuana sales have run into opposition in a Republican-controlled Congress. God. Let's see, that's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Ain't nothing wrong with no weed, man. Come on, man. What the fuck are y'all waiting on? Federally legalized weed. As Bowser mentions in her announcement of the proposed Safe Cannabis Sales Act of 2021, Congress has attached a rider to the annual appropriations bill every year since 2014 that prohibits DC from using any funds to implement and regulate the adult use cannabis sales in DC. So they go out their way. They go out their way to stop DC from legalizing their weed all the way. Ain't that a bitch? Were the newly Democratic Congress to discontinue that practice in this year's appropriations bill, The mayor's legislation would allow sales to start in the fall of 2022 with a 17% sales tax. Oh shit, I told y'all, I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew it. They're gonna tax the weed. They gonna tax the motherfucking weed, y'all. 17% sales tax. Alright, bet. That's in DC. Mayor Bowser spoke to the underlying motivations for her proposed legislation. This is her quote. "This is about safety, equity, and justice," said Mayor Bowser. "Through this legislation, we can fulfill the will of DC voters, reduce barriers for entering the cannabis industry, and invest in programs that serve residents and neighborhoods hardest hit by the criminalization of marijuana. The legislation would expunge the records of people convicted of certain marijuana-related crimes and will reinvest the tax revenue to benefit those disproportionately harmed by cannabis criminalization." I would like to hear the plan about that. According to Bowser, the bill would enhance public health by requiring cannabis to be tested in independent testing facilities for contaminants and potency. It would impose strong rules on advertising, branding, and product placement to minimize the exposure of minors to cannabis. Okay, Miss Bowser, it sounds like you got something going on there. There's something going on there. Uh-oh. In Maryland, they did that shit all wrong. They said VDM. Maryland, 2 separate bills are being considered to legalize recreational marijuana in the free state. Oh shit now. Both are in committee now. The first big deadline for approval is coming up on March 22nd. Holy shit. Yeah, so it looked like in the DMV area, you're getting a lot of steps to get marijuana fully legalized. And that's always a good thing, ain't it? So now, without further ado, let's get to the American Rescue Act of 2021. Okay. And that includes your stimulus check. For those who ain't know. So let me sip my water real fast. And we're about to get into it. Shit, boy, y'all better get y'all some alkaline. Some alkaline water. Ooh. Alkaline water. Alright, so we're about to get into the stimulus check. And the first thing we're going to talk about the American Rescue Act is the Small Business Administration programs and what is in it for the small businesses. Let's find out. Expanded nonprofit eligibility for payment protection program or paycheck protection program. It eliminates the application of the SBA affiliation rules to nonprofits and makes charities eligible for PPP if they employ not more than 500 employees per physical location. It establishes a new eligibility category for an additional covered nonprofit entity, which includes any nonprofit that is not listed in section 501c3, 501c4, 501c6, or 501c19, receives and spends less than 15% of its receipts and expenses on lobbying, spends less than $1 million on lobbying, and employs not more than 300 employees. Additional funding for the Paycheck Protection Program includes an additional $7.5 billion. Ooh, Lord. $7.5 billion for paycheck protection and increases the total program level This is just for the small businesses. $813.7 billion. Holy shit, bro. 813.7 billion dollars. $813.7 billion dollars. Just let that shit sink in. I'm about to cry. That's a lot of goddamn money. But we need it, right? Okay. The targeted EIDL advance provides an additional $15 billion added to that 813, an additional $15 billion for the targeted economic injury disaster loan, aka the EIDL advance program, and directs SBA to solely address any potential funding shortfalls in the first 28 days after enactment. Beginning 28 days after enactment, directs SBA to make any remaining make any remaining funds available for supplemental grants to severely impacted organizations that have suffered an economic loss of greater than 50% and have 10 employees or fewer. If funding remains available after 42 days, other organizations with fewer than 10 employees may apply for $5,000 supplemental grants. $5,000 supplemental grants. Exempts economic injury disaster loan grants from tax. And so they don't gotta pay taxes on that bread either. The Community Navigator Pilot Program. This program provides $100 million for community navigator grants and $75 million for outreach and education. The program allows for grants to, or contracts to, or cooperate agreements with private nonprofit organizations, SBA resource partners, states, tribes, and units of local government to ensure the delivery of free community navigator services to improve access to assistance programs and resources made available because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, we are a little confused on the Community Navigator program. I have taken the liberty of doing a little research because I'm a motherfucking boss. And I've done a little bit of research, and I'm about to clarify what exactly that shit is. So, the Navigator program itself is a nonprofit organization under the 501c3. It's driven to help individuals with disabilities develop creative opportunities and programs in their own community. That is what the program is for. So, that $100 million is going to that. Community navigators are community members who receive specialized training to provide quality immigration services for their community, and in an empowering and effective way. They do it in an empowering and effective way. That's the definition. Shuttered venue operators provides an additional $1.25 billion for the SBA Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program, including a $500,000 set aside for technical assistance to help entities apply for grants. So, They need $500,000 to help them apply for the grant. That's what it said. All right, don't get mad at me. That is a fact. And let's talk about what a shutter venue operator is. It's a person who owns or operates venues, theaters, museums, or talent agencies in more than one country or more than 10 states and have more than 500 employees. That's what a shutter venue operator is. So they are getting $1.25 billion with an additional $500,000 set aside to help them apply for the grant. Sounds nice, right? Okay. It's just for the small businesses. The Small Business Administrative Funding provides $840 million for administrative costs to prevent, prepare, and respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, including expenses related to the Payment Protection Program, aid to venues, and grants to restaurants. Provides $460 million for the Disaster Loan Program, of which $70 million is for the cost of direct loans and $390 million is for administrative costs. It also provides $25 million for SBA's Office of Inspector General of Oversight. Y'all hear that, right? Well, I think that's a lot of motherfucking money. That's all I think. That's a lot of money. So that means all my small businesses will split $840 million. That's what that means. Well, yeah, that's exactly what that means. That's a lot of motherfucking money, bro. All we need to talk about. That ain't even half of it, is it? Man. That's a lot of money. Well, we here to help. That's all I can say. Because they gonna rape the shit out of our taxes the next however many years. Cut my heat on in this bitch. Man, they gon' that's a lot of bread. 840 million. Hold on. All in all, let's add this shit together. So we got, what is that? 7.5 billion. They said the total of the program is going to be 813.7 billion. And then you have to add this 840 million to that. Shit, $800 billion, bro. All right. Let's talk about the unemployment insurance. That's the most popular section. Well, I don't know if that's the most popular section, but I know a lot of motherfuckers who that's all they talk about is this. So let's talk about it. Extension and increase in relief for government entities and nonprofit organizations. This extends the subsidy for the costs incurred by employers who provide unemployment benefits on a reimbursable basis, rather than via tax contributions through August 29, 2021. This increases the subsidy from 50% to 75% for weeks beginning after March 31st. The extension and expansion of pandemic unemployment programs. It will extend both the federal pandemic unemployment compensation, the FPUC program, and the pandemic emergency unemployment compensation, the PEUC, through August 29, 2021. It also increases the FPUC amount from $300 to $400 for weeks ending after March 14. So y'all gonna get an extra $100 every week from $300 to $400 for weeks ending after March 14th. The bill also promises to increase the number of weeks of benefits an individual worker may receive in the PECU program from 24 to 48 weeks. So, that looks good. That all looks very well. I like that. So, that's for the people, and that's what I'm saying. Give the people the money. Give the businesses the money too, because niggas got to work. But I'm just saying, you put that shit straight in our pocket, you'll fix all problems. I'm not playing with you. Now, tax credits for organizations. Credits paid for sick and family leave. The bill extends the paid sick time and paid family leave credits created by the Family's First Coronavirus Response Act from March 31st, 2021 through September 30th, 2021. It also will increase the amount of wages for which an employer may claim the paid family credit in a year from $10,000 to $12,000 per employee, and increasing the number of days for which a self-employed individual can claim the credit from 50 to 60. It also expands eligible leave to include time taken to receive or recover from COVID-19 vaccine. Now, what I'm about to say next is totally irrelevant to the bill. It's definitely relevant for episode 3. In episode 3, I'm breaking down this vaccine they put in the damn thing to recover from a COVID-19 vaccine. I ain't even gonna dwell there, but y'all heard that shit. I'm reading. That ain't my words. The Employee Retention Tax Credit. If this extends the Employee Retention Tax Credit as added by the CARES Act and expanded by the Consolidated Appropriations Act in 2021 through December 31st, 2021. The Employee Retention Tax Credit modifies the credit such that beginning after June 30th, 2021, the credit can only be claimed against the hospital insurance tax. Well, I don't think that got nothing to do with me, so I'm not going to dwell on that too long. Assistance to individuals. Here we go. The moment we have all been waiting on. The recovery rebates provides a payment of $1,400 for every single taxpayer and $2,800 for joint filers. In addition to $1,400 per dependent. God damn. Y'all niggas with kids about to eat. The credit phases out between $75,000 and $100,000 of adjusted gross income, and $112,500 and $150,000 for the head of household filers, and another $150,000 and $200,000 for joint filers. For purposes of this payment, a dependent includes both children and non-child dependents. Mixed status households may receive payments for each individual with a valid ID number. They talking about households. Boy, but nah, y'all niggas with kids. Y'all heard what it said? It says, I'm gonna read that line again for y'all. The recovery rebate provides a payment of $1,400 for every single taxpayer, $2,800 for joint filers. That's y'all married motherfuckers. In addition to $1,400 per dependent. I know a girl that got 4 kids, so that's 1,400 times 4. I'm just saying. Do the babies need $1,400? Alright, look, I ain't taking nothing from y'all, man. I don't make the rules, I break them. Let's get to it. Damn, dog. But look, if they take a lot of this unnecessary shit out the bill, I think they could have gave us $2,500 a piece. But that's just me. Like I said, I don't make the rules, I break them. The child tax credit enhancements for 2021. This makes the child tax credit fully refundable for 2021 and increases the amount to $3,000 per child, $3,600 for a child under the age of 6. This increases the age of qualifying children by 1 year for 2021, such that a 17-year-old will qualify for the credit. The enhanced credit begins to phase out for adjusted gross income in excess of $150,000 for joint filers, $112,500 for the head of household filers, and $75,000 for other filers. So basically, if you make over $75,000 a year, you're not getting shit. For joint filers, head of household, if you make over $150,000, you ain't getting shit. And if you make over $100,000 per dependent, you ain't getting shit. Y'all don't need it anyway if y'all making that much money. So I don't feel sorry for you. Say or something, I don't know. Y'all need to be passing out stimulus money. So nah. But nah, y'all good. Y'all making that much money. I mean, you got a job where you can work from home. That's all I'm saying. The childless earned income tax strengthened and expanded. Okay. Now this reduces the minimum age to claim the childless EITC from 25 to 19 and eliminates the upper age limit. Increases the credit percentage from 7.65% to 15.3%, and the income at which phase out begins will be $11,000 for non-joint filers. These changes increase the maximum credit amount from $543 to $1,502. They damn near tripled that jump. I ain't mad at them. The Child and Dependent Care Tax Credit Enhancements for 2021. This makes the CDCTC fully refundable and increases the maximum credit rate to 50%. Amends the phase-out threshold to begin at $125,000 instead of $15,000. It increases the amount of child and dependent care expenses that are eligible for the credit to $8,000 for one qualifying individual and $16,000 for 2 or more qualifying individuals. Man, so what I'm looking at here is it don't look like these niggas gotta pay taxes either. So the money ain't taxed, or they'll give you a tax refund, an enhancement on your tax refund. I'm not getting no tax refund. Fucked up shit. I don't never get no tax refund, man. Fuck this country. The civic and community infrastructure. Okay. Broadband access and devices. $7.6 billion through the establishment of an emergency connectivity fund. The fund will provide support to eligible schools and other organizations to provide eligible connected devices, internet service, and hotspots to students, teachers, and for internet use at home. Okay. They getting y'all that Wi-Fi. They getting y'all right, man. Making sure They say, if you want me to do the job, give me the tools to do it. They give me y'all the tools to do it, so get the job done. Low income home energy assistance. $4.5 billion to help families afford home heating and cooling costs. Now ain't that nice? Yeah, we need that. There's a lot of old people in these houses. It's a lot of dumbass parents that don't do shit. The kids need help too. So that's a good one. Federal Transit Administration. $30 billion. Whew. God damn. We said $7.6 billion for the internet. $4.5 billion for the heating and cooling. $30 billion. Yeah, I'm saying these numbers. And it's like it's in my palm. Like, who the fuck? Where is they getting this money from? $30 billion to assist with operating costs, including payroll and personal protective equipment. That's for the Federal Transit Administration. That's the FTA. The Child Care Entitlement for states. $3.55 billion per year, of which $100 million should be available for tribal organizations and $75 million should be available for grants to territories. Okay. Going around a lot of money, billions and millions. Child Care and Development Block Grant. $15 billion in additional funding through September 30th, 2021. So they're getting $15 billion extra. They said in additional funding. That's extra. Child care stabilization. What in the fuck are these programs? I'm gonna have to go and do a podcast on each one of these programs that's in this bill, bro. Because I'm new at this or whatever, but I pay attention. And what the fuck? I was talking about stabilizing. Child care stabilization. That's what. Let me see. $24 billion to the child care stabilization. $24 billion to $24 billion to CCDBG lead agencies to award sub-grants to qualified child care providers that are either open and available to provide services or closed reasons related to COVID-19. Okay. Now, child care stabilization, it looks like they're talking about daycare. Forgive me for my ignorance. Allowable uses include personnel expenses, cleaning supplies, and personal protective equipment, and mental health supports. Providers receiving funds must make certain certifications, including following CDC guidelines, paying full employee compensation, and providing tuition relief to families in need of assistance. And even still, bro, once again, y'all trying to help everybody. You give that money to the well, fuck. Y'all already giving that money to the parents. With they getting $1,400 per kid. You give more money to the parents can now afford their daycare. The daycare don't need government assistance now. You see how that works? But I don't make the rules. I break the rules. That's just me. I am young Squalla and I am a nigga and proud to be. Cooperation for National and Community Service. $1 billion to support and increase AmeriCorps volunteers to respond to communities impacted by COVID-19. Grants will be prioritized based on grantees located in recruiting from communities disproportionately impacted by COVID-19 and considering the diversity of communities and participants served by such entities, including racial, ethnic, socioeconomic, linguistic, or geographic diversity. Okay, we need $1 billion. The national, and here's the dumb shit. Here's the dumb shit that I was talking about. What the fuck are these? The National Endowment for the Arts. They get $135 million plus 40% to state agencies and 60% to direct grants. That's how they're gonna split that $135 million. The National Endowment for the Humanities. Another $135 million, 40% to state agencies, 60% to direct grants. The Institute of Museum and Library Services, $200 million for the Library Services and Technology Act. And Native American Language Preservation gets $10 million. Yeah, I'm going to definitely do a podcast. I think I got my next couple episodes too. What is this? $10 million to Native American Language Preservation. Hold on real quick. I'm about to look that joint up because now they only getting 10 million. Let me look up the Institute of Museum and Library Services. And it says this is an independent agency of the United States federal government established in 1996. It is the main source of federal support for libraries and museums within the United States, having one mission: to create strong libraries and museums that connect people with information and ideas. IMLS, the Institute of Museum and Library Services, works at the national level and in coordination with the state and local organizations to sustain heritage, culture, and knowledge, enhance learning and innovation, and support professional development. Their vision is a democratic society where communities and individuals thrive with broad public access to knowledge, cultural heritage, and lifelong learning. So, nothing to do with nothing that has anything to do with survival of life. 135 million. That's what. Matter of fact, no, they getting 200 million. They getting the most out of all those unnecessary junk. I gotta do it. I have to. The Native American Language Preservation. And I have Native American blood in me, so kiss my ass. My great grandmother was full blown, so y'all can kiss my ass once again. Native American Language Preservation. And why are they getting $10 million? Okay. Revitalizing critically endangered Native American languages. Come on, man. Does that have to be in the relief bill? That should be in something different. All of this shit should be in something different. But anyway, I'm moving on, dog. State and local government support. Altogether, $350 billion. Assistance to state government and DC gets $195.3 billion. Assistance to local governments, $130.2 billion. Assistance to tribal governments, $200 billion. Assistance to territorial governments, $4.5 billion. Are any of these local governments bringing down that bread with their local residents? That's what I need to know. Is any of these state governments bringing down that bread with their local residents? I need to know. Where is the money going? That is the question. Y'all getting this money, we need to see some changes. Other provisions. Federal minimum wage increase. Here we go. This increases the federal minimum wage for employees from $7.25 per hour to $15 per hour by 2025. So they're gonna raise it to $9.50 in 2021 $11 in 2022, $12.50 in 23, $14 in 2024, and $15 by 2025. And by the time 25, they make that shit $15 an hour. Alright, 725. Alright, in the DMV area, I'm gonna straight go on where I know, because where I live at, and our minimum wage about 10 to 12. Mostly, I think it's about 10 to 12 our minimum wage. So, according to this, all right, $10 to $12 an hour, $40. All right, hold on. I'm about to get y'all right. I'm about to put it in perspective. 40 hours a week, minimum wage, $12 an hour. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna talk about. $12 an hour, $480 a week. All right. Now we're gonna times that by 4. That's $1,900 a month. Right. Now we're gonna subtract 15%. Hold on. What is it? $1,900 a month. And we're gonna subtract 15%, and that's gonna give you $1,600 a month. All right? Okay. This is minimum wage. This number means a lot. $1,600, right? That's a month. Now, the average person has a car. Whether you have a note or not, your insurance is gonna be anywhere from $60 to $200. So we're gonna subtract $150 from this $1,600. Boom. That's gonna bring you to $1,400. Somewhere like that. 1,600 minus 150, $1,450. All right, that's car insurance paid. Now we're gonna talk about. See, I'm purposely gonna do rent last. We're gonna talk about gas money for your car. Let's say you spend $30 a week on gas. Nah, fuck that. You spending $50 a week on gas, so that's gonna bring you down to $1,400. All right. Now you got a kid. All right. You got a baby now. We ain't gonna talk about the other parents' income. We talking about yours. So your baby hungry. They want some McDonald's real fast. What? $7, $8? We're gonna do $7. $1,300 and $1,393. All right, boom. Now we're gonna pay the electric bill at $70. And I'm being cheap right now. $70. We're gonna pay the water. That's another $70. We're gonna pay the Wi-Fi. We're gonna get that $30. Now, we ain't ate nothing yet. But we're not going to fast food. We're going to the grocery store. So for the month, we're about to go to the grocery store. We're gonna spend $200. That's well, we're gonna spend $200 there. And oh yeah, I forgot that's $50 a week for the gas. So we got to minus another $150 for 4 weeks in a month. That brings you down to $1,043. All right. Now we in the DC area. How much our rent costs? You ain't finding nothing at $1,043. The cheapest you gonna get, nigga. The cheapest you gonna get for real, is about this a month. And let's take all that. You left with fucking nothing, right? That's what the minimum wage at now, DC. We gonna raise it to 15. Just like they gonna raise your minimum wage all these years, the prices of everything gonna go up to match it, bro. You gonna be in the same boat you was in when you was making $7.25, making $15 an hour. Pay attention. Inflation is a motherfucker. Now, the Higher Education Emergency Relief Fund. I'm really about to have to look into these. We got $39.6 billion. Elementary school and secondary school emergency relief fund, $128.6 billion. Indian Health Service, $6.1 billion. Indian Health Service. I'm looking that up right now. Indian Health Service. Damn. And you know what's crazy? I didn't even know I used to work for these niggas. I used to work for these niggas when I was in North Carolina, bro. the Indian Health Service is federally recognized American Indian, Alaska Native tribes and their descendants for eligible services provided by the Indian Health Service. First of all, I used to work for these niggas, IHS. I did not know that that's what that meant, unless it's another IHS. But if it's the IHS I'd worked for, they full of shit talking about they got net. Man, no. But they is in the health service because I worked for the nursing home when I worked for them. So if they employing people to do that, all right. But not what I just read. So I'm just saying. The Bureau of Indian Education. Once again, we in India. We are in India for whatever reason. $850 million. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Y'all know what that is. Y'all know exactly what that is. That's the SNAP, the food stamps. That extends 15% all the way up to September 30th, 2021. The Special SNAP Program for Women and Infants and Children. That's the WIC. The WIC. That gets $390 million for outreach, innovation, and program modernization. It also provides the Secretary of Agriculture with the authority and funding to temporarily boost the cash value voucher up to $35 a month for women and children, and 4-month period during the COVID-19 pandemic. So y'all gonna have that for 4 months. It's a lot. It's fucking a lot. So that was basically summing up the relief bill. And in a second, I'm about to get into some articles, but I'm going to have to take a second to breathe because that was a lot of money I was throwing around. So give me a second. Young Squalla. Always everything with Squalla. Don't go nowhere. Be right back. All right, we back. A Boogie with the hoodie on the motherfucking speaker. Y'all know I fuck with my nigga A Boogie with the hoodie, hard body. A Boogie with the motherfucking hoodie. Go get that nigga shit. Go get my nigga Ted shit. That's at his Ted's Boy. You gonna hear one of his songs at the end of the segment. My song, you know, that was the first one. When They See Us and all that there. But let me get back to the subject at hand, because I'm trying to keep this shit within or under an hour, and I know I am over time. So I'm about to just run a couple news points that I found talking about the damn relief bill. So according to Fox News, the country is suffering. Well, in 2020, the country has suffered a $3.1 trillion debt. The national debt is going to hit $28 trillion. Well, it has already hit $28 trillion since Joe Biden has been the president. I'm not going to blame him. I'm going to blame COVID for that. So you get a pass, Joe. $300 billion of the bill is going to go toward long-standing policies that are not directly related to the current crisis. Okay, $300 billion is going to shit that is not related to the current crisis. That's $300 billion that could be going in your pockets, people. Only 1% of the bill will go to vaccine distribution. 1%. All right, they talking all this vaccine, but all this shit about the vaccine, they don't got enough. But they got $300 billion on the policies that are not directly related to the current crisis, and 1% of the bill will go to vaccines. I think we got our priorities fucked up here. Only 5% of the bill will go to public health needs. Oh my lord. It's a lot of money, but now you break it down to percent. 1%, so 6% is going to the health need. 1% being the vaccine. That's crazy. I ain't taking the vaccine. I suggest, episode 3, we gonna get in on the vaccine. I'm gonna tell y'all why. Y'all should not take that motherfucker. Do not listen to the motherfucker. Do not take that vaccine. My cousin just took the vaccine. Nigga, arms swole up, head swole, all type of shit is going on. Dr. Fauci on TV talking about episode 3. Alright. And that was the Fox News. They wanted to make sure that everybody knew that the national debt is going to be $28 trillion with this bill going out, and that $300 billion of this bill is not going towards the COVID-19 crisis, and it's not going towards your pocket. According to Forbes, $1.5 million are earmarked for the Seaway International Bridge, which connects New York to Canada. I don't know how that's relief, but okay. I guess they're relieving the highway of traffic with this relief bill too. $1.5 million worth of relief to go to a bridge, my people. Break that down. Can't the people use that money too? Do we really need a bridge right now? Right now we need the bridge. Okay. Also, according to Forbes, $50 million going to family planning, and $852 million going to AmeriCorps and the AmeriCorps Vista National Senior Services. So, $50 million for family planning. That's probably places like Planned Parenthood. I mean, I understand why we need these places, but I don't understand why they getting $50 million for relief. Once again, give that money to the people. The people pay for their services. Everything will fall into place. But who am I? You know what I'm saying? According to Forbes, the $15 an hour wage streak is projected to cost the economy 1.4 million jobs, and I said that too. So, remember I told you, I broke it down. The economy is going to be fucked. The $15 is going to change nothing. It's going to make all the prices go up, and it's going to force your employer to pay you $15 an hour. And they got, all right, I have a theory. This has not been proven, so don't quote me. But y'all forcing people to pay $15 an hour, right? They already talking about replacing us with robotics as far as general labor goes. That's the transportation industry, that's logistics, that's a lot of shit that'll be going to robotics. So if I'm an employer, right? And a lot of these people do have the option. That's why when you call the call center, the fucking robot pick up the phone and not a person, because they already replacing them with the robots. We got Siri, Alexa, that's training. Look, I'm trying to tell you. Listen, if you an employee, you paying a nigga $7.25. You about to have to give him a $7 raise per hour. $7 per hour raise. And then on top of that, you not getting no money back. So what's going to force the employer to do is either raise his prices for his services up, his or her prices up for the services that they provide in order to compensate their employees. Or they're gonna keep their prices low, get rid of human labor, and bring in robotics. Then they won't have to pay nothing an hour for shit. They had to pay a one-time fee to get the robot installed, and that'll be that. So that's that. And I'm just saying. And on top of that, there is going to be $473 billion going to the individual American, $70 billion in cash for vaccines, $26 billion go to the restaurant industry, $50 billion go to the airline industry, $7.2 billion go to the payment protection program, $200 million go to the museums. And I'm gonna tell you, last year the museums got $230 million. $270 go to the National Endowment of the Arts. They got $253 million in 2019. $350 billion for the state and DC bailout. $12.5 billion to fund the kindergarten through 12 education, public schools. $86 billion to save 200 pension plans. 200. Okay. $50 billion for FEMA, with a required amount of $7,000 used to reimburse for burial costs of COVID deaths. $39.6 billion to higher education, who also received $12.5 billion last year. $1.5 billion for Amtrak. That's a hell of a train, ain't it? And the national debt from 2008 through 2016, that would be Obama's presidency, went from $10 trillion to $19 trillion. And Trump's presidency, 2016 to 2020, went from $19 trillion to $23 trillion. And like I said, Joe Biden is at an all-time high. He been president, what, 2-3 months now? 2 months. He took the debt from 23 trillion to 28 trillion already in his first month. Nigga, it took Obama 8 years to do $9 trillion. It took Trump 4 years to do $5 trillion. It took Joe Biden 2 months to do $5 trillion more in debt. I think we're in trouble, y'all. I think we are in trouble. But like I say, who am I? And see, for this here stimulus bill, we broke it down. It's a lot of good things happening. It's a lot of bad things happening with it. It's a lot of, I ain't gonna call them bad things, I'm gonna say wasteful. Wasteful. Because, like I said, you just give the money to the individual person. They're gonna spend it, bro. Trust me, the economy will be booming like it never boomed before. They're gonna spend it. But the big picture is, how we gonna pay that shit back? $28 trillion in debt ain't counting. Remember that. Who do we owe that to? What the fuck is the national debt? Okay, let's figure that out. Last point, and I'm getting the fuck off of here. Who do we owe that to? National debt. Hold on, give me a second. The public holds over 21 trillion, or almost 78% of the national debt. One foreign governments hold about a third of the public debt, while the rest is owned by U.S. banks and investors, the Federal Reserve, state and local government mutual funds, and pension funds, insurance companies, and saving bonds. Okay. So, some of the people that we owe the national debt to is getting money from the relief bill, which is adding to the national debt. Now, if that don't make no goddamn sense, it shouldn't. Because that shit is ridiculous. But, y'all let me know what y'all think. about this here. I'm about to be out. This was always Everything with Squalla. And episode 1 and 2 will only be available on Spotify because of my use of the music. So episode 3, sad to say, will not have any music in it unless I get specific permission from the artist to put the song in there. Because I will put the song in there and it'll be the whole song. Okay? But that's another story. We'll do that later. But episode 3 will be available everywhere. And we're talking about the vaccines on episode 3. This is Young Squalla. Follow me on Instagram at always.squalla. That is always.squalla. And I am out.